It's a pleasure having you back on the show, but more importantly, it's a pleasure having you back, period.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you.
So for people who aren't fully aware, tell us a little bit about the medical issues you were experiencing when you first noticed them happening and how they started.
The first week of December in last year, I lost my hearing one morning. I woke up, couldn't hear out of my right ear, and as the day went on, I felt like I was falling. And coached a game the next day and kind of went through the next month on several rounds of steroids, treating what we thought was a viral infection. Things got progressively worse. I started to have heightened sensitivity to certain sounds. I started to hear some really weird sounds, which I didn't know what they were at first. It turned out I was starting to hear my eyelids move. I could hear my toes wiggle. Some pretty weird, strange stuff. And I had blood work that indicated that I had an autoimmune disease, and I had neurological issues, and so there were a lot of symptoms that just kind of seemed like they couldn't add them all together and figure out Occam's razor, the simplest explanation.
Right.
Well, it turned out that it was something that was very rare. I had a fracture in my skull, and it was above my inner ear, so on this side about maybe less than an inch in, and at the bottom of my brain, and the sound would travel in and out through that hole where it shouldn't. So it would move my vestibular fluid, make me feel like I was moving around, falling, and I heard things very loud. I heard autophony, I heard my own body very loud.
But
every time I took a step, I'd hear it.
How does that start the first week in December? Did something happen?
Well, we don't know what triggered it. I mean, it could have been something, there could have been something where there was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, a sneeze, or some sort of, I don't know, elevated cerebral spinal fluid pressure that I had from maybe an infection or something like that. Could have caused enough pressure to actually make the break all the way through. But it's very rare, about 1 in a million, so I'm one of the 2 people in Maine who have it. And we don't know who the other one is yet, but we'll find him. And it was corrected with a craniotomy. So they cut a hole in the side of my head, went in, lifted my brain, spackled in the bottom of the skull, and got out of there.
You make that sound incredibly easy, but that doesn't seem
well,
incredibly easy.
It's pretty straightforward. It's not easy. But
Right.
I had some of the best surgeons in the world, literally best surgeons in the world at UCLA Hospital perform the surgery. And when someone's messing around with your brain, you kind of want the best. So it was worth the trip out there. They did a great job, and I'm feeling just tons better. So yeah, thank you.